Hi, this is an interview tip for all of you that are out there, and I recently had to confront this with one of my clients, okay? So when you're at the end of an interview, you definitely want to find out what the interview is thinking, and if they're having a problem with you or they have some kind of like a question or a conflict or something they're confused about, or maybe a reason that they feel like you weren't the right fit for the job, you are better off finding out right then and there, because after they leave and you leave, they're going to move on to better candidates and you're just going to get totally lost in the shuffle. There is no giving you the benefit of the doubt, folks, okay? That's not how it works in these kind of decisions, in these kind of scenarios, okay? It's like your resume is going to get tossed into the garbage pail as soon as you exit if they have any doubt in their mind whatsoever. So I want to make this analogy for you, okay? Let's say that, okay, for guys out there, right? Let's say you, and even for girls, if you've been on a first date, okay? Because that's what an interview is like. It's like a first date. You go on a first date with somebody. The whole date, let's say, it's going well, but you're not sure. Like, guys, let's say you see the girl. You're not sure if she's into you or not, right? At the end, what do? You go and you try to kiss her, right? And then you find out if she's into you or not, don't you, right? And for the girls, right? If the guy tries to kiss you or not, you know if he's into you or not. I mean, I can tell you that the first date that I had with my Antonio that, I now have settled down with, my partner for life, like Antonio tried to kiss me like in the middle of the date, right? He was ready to like close the sale right then and there, okay? So what I'm saying is, when you're in an interview, this is a transaction. Try to close the transaction, attempt a close right then and there. Now, they're obviously not going to give you the job right then and there, but see, and now I have 2 children as a result of this deal with Antonio, okay? So what I'm saying is they're not going to like give you the deal paperwork right then and there. Obviously, there are other people involved in the decision, but you want to find out what's going through their mind. So what I would suggest you would say something like this at the end of the interview. So if you would say, if you would give me a 10, okay, if I were the best, where would I stand on a scale of 1 to 10? If 10 would be I'm the best candidate that you've ever seen for this job and you would want to hire me right now, and 1 was that you really do not feel this is a fit and it was incorrect for me to even be interviewed for this position, what would you rank me numerically? Now, if they say, they're probably not going to say 1 because no one wants to really like slam you like that. Like, it really would take kind of a cruel, cold-hearted person to be like 1, right? Like, so, but they're probably going to say a 5 if there's something that they're not impressed with. So then, good, then you say, okay, so the 10s that you see, how does that differ from me then? So, okay, so I'm not a 10. So the person says 5, right? So now you know you did really badly. If they say 5, like, that's really bad. Okay, so 5, right? You heard 5. Okay, I'm a 5. How does a 5 become a 10? Or if they say something like 7, you say, okay, so it seems like you're teetering on the edge. What might be some of the reasons or ideas that I'm not a 10 in your eyes, right? And then just confront whatever it is, or, whatever else you want to use, at the end of the interview. So, would you hire me right now if I were the last candidate you ever interviewed for this position? And see what they say, okay? So what I'm saying is, don't say something like, so when are you going to get back to me? Because that's like at the end of a date, right? Like, that's like, if you're on a date, if you're a girl, you're going to say to the guy, like, so when are you going to call me back? When are you going to call me next? Are we going to have another date? Like, don't say it like that. Say, what do you feel? Or say something, could even like a little bit less confrontational, right? What do you feel were my strengths in this position? How well, if like a 10 were that I line up perfectly with this position, or like, what do you feel are the 3 strengths that best make me a fit for this position? What do you feel are the 3 drawbacks that make me maybe not the best fit for this position? And then see what they say, okay? Because you're way better off dealing with whatever needs to be clarified right then and there in the interview. If you don't get to the truth, then the reality is that is going to get in the way and they're not going to buy. They're not going to make the transaction. They're not going to go for the deal unless you find out what truly is in their mind and what they're truly thinking. So be bold, be blunt. Save it for maybe like try it in the middle of the interview. If you feel like you've covered a lot of ground, try it right then and there. Okay, so far, how do you like me? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel like I fit? Like, try it right there in the middle of the interview. Who knows? Like, if they say, yes, you're a 10, then your next thing is, okay, so when do I start, right? So you see what I'm saying? Like, in interviews, there's so much, like, siloed communication and, like, I'm doing a monologue and then you do a monologue and, like, we're talking at each other, but there's there's not really like real communication, okay? So what I'm saying is get to real communication in the interview and you'll have much better results. It's going to take a lot of guts. Don't feel like you're missing something, because if you ask them for their honest feedback and then they say, you know, and it's putting them off, or they don't like that you're that direct or blunt, then guess what? You weren't going to get the job anyways. Because what you've done by doing that is you've asked them to say something that they feel uncomfortable talking about, okay? They wouldn't feel uncomfortable if they knew that you were Mrs. or Mr. Right, correct? So if you ask them to discuss the drawbacks or what's keeping them from deciding on you, and then they won't discuss it, at least you found out, right, that you weren't the best person for the job, and at least you attempted to fix it. That's way better. I'd rather have you do that than leave. I mean, if you're going to lose, you might as well lose on your own terms. You might as well lose because there was something they didn't like and they wouldn't discuss it, right? So what I'm going to say is, if you're going to lose, then go down swinging. Attempt to close the transaction or close the deal or get them to agree on you right then and there. And if there are any objections, get them out in the open, because trust me, you're not hearing from them. If there are any objections, there's something that they're thinking that they're not crazy about you, and you're way better off finding out before the fact rather than after the fact, when they're going to have all these kinds of concerns about, is she going to sue me or this or that, and then they're not even going to respond to you, and you're never going to hear from them ever again, and then you're not going to have a job. So everybody, if you like this advice, go ahead and thumbs up this video. Get in touch with me for more tidbits. I am Professor Sarah Grillo. Thanks for watching.